everyone. Welcome to Course Creators Master Plan Day 2. I hope that you had an amazing Friday night, that you got some rest, that you did your homework, and you are super excited for Day 2. So if you remember yesterday, we talked a lot about your life story, right? We talked a lot about, in the morning, we talked about those choices and showing up and not necessarily knowing what the next step is. Well, here's the thing is there's something really powerful in that, in showing up. And if you remember yesterday, I stopped my story at, hey, I got hired, which is fantastic. But there's another part of that. Remember, I also said there's always a story behind the story, right? And out of the gate, when I got hired, the first task that Amon ever gave me was to write copy, marketing copy. I didn't even know what that meant, right? Like I had no idea, like what even is that? Like, are you talking like copy machine? I can totally do that. But he gave me 3 emails and he said, write them. And I said, I don't know how. And he said, I know, write them. And so I started going on Google, right? Like, how do you do this? Like, what is this? And it took me 6 weeks to write 3 emails. That is insane. Like 6 weeks for 3 emails. And every single day he would get online with me and we would go over the emails and we would talk about them and he would give me strategy and we would talk about why things are worded the way they are and all this stuff every single day. And along the way of writing this copy, he was also teaching me different marketing strategies for different things, right? Different foundational concepts within this copy. But to be able to do that, to be able to take that first big step and get all of that knowledge, he had to be willing to show up. And I had to be willing to show up. And there were days that I was crying, that I was like, there's no way, I don't make it through this. Like I was sure that I would tap out or he would be like, I can't. And one of us would end this relationship. And it never happened. And it was 6 weeks, 3 copies. And I think that I've never had so much knowledge pushed into my head in such a short period of time. But it was absolutely foundational to everything that came after. And so when we talk about showing up and we talk about doing the hard things, those hard things and just showing up and being present for you and your business can change everything. So the first step was to take a step, right? Take action. And the second part of this is to show up for that action that you're willing to take, right? Don't just say this is good enough. Think about all the hard things. When Amon was telling the story yesterday about how he biked down the coast and he fell and he did 100 miles with a broken wrist. And I was like, are you insane? Like, can we just get you into a hospital? That would be great because it's actually my unofficial job to keep you alive. And he was like, no, I got this. I got it. And he did. And he uses that as a standard. Think about the hardest thing you have ever done, whether that was raising kids, whether that was something crazy like an adventure like Amon, whether that was, just sitting down and being with your own thoughts and making your way through your own being and understanding who you are. Whatever the hardest thing you have ever done is, think about that and let it become the standard of everything you're going to do going forward, and show up and hold yourself to that standard. Amon also said yesterday that if you looked at a picture of me 5 years ago, I'm not even the same person. Ironically, yesterday, while we were on break, I happened to see a Facebook memory of me 5 years ago. And I was like, holy moly, like there is nothing the same about me. And so start thinking about that. What are all of the things, if you could be anyone, if your business could be anything and you had no fear of failing, what would that look like? Remove that fear of failure and take that step and show up and really sit with that. If you could be anyone and your business could be anything, what would it be? And think about that every time you decide to take action. That action and that showing up is the thing that changes forever. I still can't write good copy for what it's worth. But I try, and this is why we have a copywriter. But I'll tell you what, I understand the foundational pieces of it. I understand why we do what we do. And that has become invaluable to me. So with that being said, let's bring on the man of the day or the weekend. Amon, are you there?
I was not expecting to be called on. Good morning, and where is the wheel of names?
I totally forgot. I got involved in my story. We did a wheel of names.
Yeah,
So
I'm like,
we're gonna do wheel of names.
Sarah, the 8 a.m. wheel of names, and I'm like,
Ironically, I even told the team, I was like, I have to be on today for wheel of names at like 7:45, and then I forgot. So
okay.
that's where we are today. All right, we're doing wheel of names right now. All right, here we go. You get points for dancing with me, but they're not redeemable. All right. Donna. Is she here?
Donna. Oh, of course, yes, Donna is here.
Good job. You won a $50 Amazon gift card. Congratulations.
Okay, Sarah, an idea. How about we have a cookie points jar? And during the event, we give people cookie points. And the person who gets the most number of cookie points then wins something, like wins the I'm a Leader t-shirt or wins a gift card or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love everything about this.
Okay, so how are we going to handle the cookie points jar? You're an operation manager. You figure out the cookie points jar, and we'll just give people cookie points during the event, okay?
Welcome to a day in the life of what we do. Yvonne says, I have this idea, and I go, great, I'll figure it out. Okay, bye.
Well, I just realized that you just said that anybody who dances with me gets some points. And I'm like, well, then what do we do with these points? I'm like, yay, they are getting points, but then let's announce 1 or 2 people who get cookie points every time they dance with you.
Love that. All right, this is a great idea. And also, Donna, we cannot have real cookies. That's actually where the cookies came from, is because Amon would say something, and I'm like, do you want a cookie? And he's like, no, I don't. Give me like something else. So,
you know what we can do? You know what we can do? Okay, I know. Send out cards, sends the best brownies ever. Like ever, right? But I'm not sure if we have a send out card account. Do we have a send out? We used to have a send out card account.
What did I do with that account? Correct.
Do we?
We do.
I think I shut it down. Anyways.
Why did you shut it down?
I don't know. Anyways.
This is why we save the brownies
okay.
for things.
Okay. If we have a send out card account, then we're gonna give you brownie points, and you're gonna get a send out card brownies. But if you're
so there are points to be had, and then there's treats or gift cards or t-shirts after. There's some kind of prize for getting the points, and maybe real cookies or brownies. We don't know. We'll have it figured out. But in the meantime, we're dancing for points and doing other things for points.
Okay, perfect. Sarah, figure it out.
Great, sounds good.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Doing well? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh my God, last 24 hours has been amazing. Just being with you guys and going through the event. And then, of course, when the event ends, the event doesn't end for us, right? When the event ends, then we go to something that we call it in the team wine hour. Nobody drinks wine, but I mean, sometimes they do. But the point of wine hour is not really drinking wine. It's just sitting together and just as a team discuss like the situation and the experience and how things are going and how we can support people better and everything else. And I'll tell you, the entire team had a blast yesterday. I hope that you guys had as much of a blast as we had as team going through this event, because I'll tell you, like we're enjoying ourselves. We're enjoying well, technically we're enjoying you guys. We're enjoying the way that you're showing up, the way that the questions you're asking, the commitment, the engagement, everything that you're bringing to the table. So I always say this event wouldn't happen if you wouldn't show up, because otherwise it would be a big team meeting. You know, if you as audience weren't here, then this would just be a team meeting for us, right? So you are the people that make this event an event, and I'm very glad and grateful to every single one of you for being here. Now, let me ask you a question. Yesterday, we talk about, actually, give me a second to put this on recording. But yesterday, we had a conversation about Leaders Code of Actions, right? And in the conversation of Leaders Code of Actions, we talked about the the top 5 Leaders Code of Action. And I said it's 20 of them, but I mean, we can't go through every single one of those things, but the top 5 was value the community, be reward oriented, be grateful, do a random act of kindness, and there was something else on top of it. Of course, I forgot the first one. And anyways, no, seriously, give me 1 second to actually go get it. Oh, be fully engaged and invested, of course. Be fully engaged and invested in every single thing that you do, right? But question, did you actually put that in action yesterday in terms of, did you do something actively to feel grateful? Did you practice any action of gratitude, right? There's like, okay, let me actually sit back, let me think about it, right? Or did you do a random act of kindness yesterday? Okay. So we have this thing called Leader Success Journal. Okay, so it's a daily journal that actually on leadersmerch.com, you can go and get it. So we always gave people paper and we said like, hey, print these and just build your own daily journal. And then what happened was that people were printing it, they were punching it, and then they were putting it in a binder, and then they would end up with a bulky thing. And then I figured it out how we can print high quality notebooks with Amazon. So then we turned it into a high quality, very thin notebook, because I always travel with it, and having this like bulky binder in my bag was just like too much, right? But then figured out how to have it actually notebook printed through Amazon. That would end up being very inexpensive, be like $20 for like 90 days or like 100 days of it. So it's like, okay, anyway, it would end up costing the same as it would cost with a printer. So might as well we just get it done through Amazon and have high quality, very well binded book and notebook. So anyways, so we have this thing called Leader Success Journal. And I highly recommend to people, if you don't journal, or if you're not happy with the way that you're journaling right now, to give the Leader Success Journal a try. The good thing with the Leader Success Journal is that it starts with getting you write 8 lines of what you're grateful for. So the beginning part of it, it gets you to write for 8 lines what you're grateful for. And no matter how big you're writing, sometimes you want to write things in big because you're like trying to like, oh, I don't have lots of things to be grateful for today. But when it's 8 lines, it actually gets you to switch mindset into gratitude, right? Which we know, if you're in grateful mindset, then you're in success mindset, right? And then after that, it asks you 5 questions. So it says, to achieve my goals, I need to. And it says, I need to finish my work on, and you have a place to write what you need to finish your work on. And it says, connect with, learn, overcome my fear of, okay, and anything else. So it gives you like 5 things that you can write what you need to do to be able to achieve your goals today. Okay, so this is all about small steps, right? It's all about small steps every step of the way. And so it gets you to go through those small steps, but then now in success mindset. And when you do it, I see actually Jay Fairbrother is, let me actually add him to Spotlight there. Okay, so that's the Leader Success Journal. Okay, so and like he does a daily. A lot of our members write their Leader Success Journal daily. Thank you very much for showcasing that, Jay. So anyway, so when you do this, it just puts you in the success mindset. Then you finish the next step. Like, what's the next thing that I need to do to achieve my goal? And then, bam, now you write the 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 things that you need to do now to achieve your goal. And then it continues with your life purpose. And so every night you remind yourself of your life purpose. Every day you remind yourself of what you're grateful for and write your goals. It's a very easy, fast way to put you in a place to be able to do that. I see actually Joseph Lamb also is holding his up. So again, oh, look at that. And that's the ultimate course formula. Thank you very much, Joseph. Really appreciate that, right? So, so anyway, so I highly recommend to you when you go to the hub in the VIP hub, there you can see a place that says Leaders Merge. There's a place that you can get Leaders Merge, and there is a link to a Leader Success Journal that you can use to just get it. And I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. I can't tell you how much I owe my business, my success, my other things to this journal. It started first as something that I started for my own, and I saw the impact of it. And then again, as I said, like I used to give it the forms to people, and then they were printing it. But then buying it is actually easier and cheaper, and gives you better system. Anyways, now, if we have anyone who is new today and wasn't here yesterday, okay, so there's a chance that today is your first day. If today is your first day, a part of being at this event gives you access to a one-on-one coach to have a one-on-one conversation. By the way, how was your coaching experience? Can we get you guys go to the chat box and give a shout out to your coach, to your conversation? And you can just put the name of your coach rocks, right? So for example, like Catherine rocks, Monique rocks, Jay rocks, right? So let's go give a shout out to your coach. Somebody said my coach more than rocks. Monique more than rocks. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Tammy, for that, right? Perfect. Okay, so if you are new today, you weren't here at this event, and you weren't able to book your coaching session, you can go to the VIP hub. I'm going to wait for the chat lines to continue to finish. And then after that, I'm going to put the link to the VIP hub. So in the chat box, you can see the link to the VIP hub. When you go to that link that's in the chat box, you will see, let me share my screen. You will see this page. And when you will see this page, there is this red button that allows you to go and book your coaching session. If you have already booked a coaching session, do not do that. So this does not apply to about 98% of you in this room, okay? But for the couple of people who might be new today, then go there and then click here to schedule your coaching session. And then you will be able to follow all the links, and then you will be able to book your coaching session. Please book your coaching session for Saturdays. You should not be able to see anything available on Sunday or this afternoon. Sarah, can you actually make sure that this is fixed right away, that people cannot see anything on Sunday or Saturday afternoon? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So then you go ahead and you can book a coaching call here, for example, for 9 a.m. or 9:20 a.m. or 9:40 a.m. anyways. And you can go ahead, click continue, and put your first name, last name, phone number, and bam, you will be able to book your coaching session. And with that, then when you're done, you can go to the hub, you can click on the green button, and the green button will take you to your coaching call. And of course, the majority of you have already gone through your coaching session. The majority of you had your coaching session finished. And some of you have a secondary coaching call, which is a conversation about joining Lead Mastermind. If you were a good match for joining Lead, probably they booked a coaching session for you for the second call. Okay. With that, who is ready to roll your sleeves up and get started with today's content? Now, yesterday we did a lot of work related to personal development. We did your message, we talked about regrets, we talked about life purpose, we talked about your story, right? Which I'm going to actually share with you how you're going to use your life story, your purpose in your marketing later. Okay, so I'm going to actually showcase that to you this afternoon, like around 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to actually showcase that to you. But then now it's time to talk about your offers, okay? And this is a very interesting thing. As I said yesterday, I gave you this example yesterday, that sometimes I talk to people and they say, Iman, I've never sold any $10,000 package. I've never had a $10,000 client. And I say, okay, well, tell me about your $10,000 offer. And they say, I don't have a $10,000 offer. And I'm like, well, that explains it. If you never have a if you don't have a $10,000 offer, how do you want to have a $10,000 client? Like, even if you don't know what people get for $10,000, how would people pay you $10,000? Right? I mean, first you go, then people follow. First you decide what people are going to receive, then people follow. Like, you can't expect people to come and say, hey, you know, I don't know what I'm going to get, but here's $10,000 and give me whatever I'm going to get. And then you think, oh, okay, let me come up with some. Like, of course, you create the vision, people buy into that vision, and they invest in themselves by paying you. Make sense? Perfect. Okay. So, of course, we talked about being a leader. 1 second to figure out my computer. Okay. Of course, we talked about being a leader. And as part of being a leader, you want to be a leader, but you don't want to be a broke leader. And unfortunately, we have a lot of broke leaders in the world, in the industry. And what I mean by that, I literally mentioned this yesterday. There are lots of people who have over 1 million followers on social media, and they are making less than $100,000 a year. Now imagine some people that are making like have $100,000 follower, 100,000, yeah, 100,000 followers. Imagine people who have 100,000 followers, right? Now, I don't have any followers on social media. I'm barely on social media, right? But I run a 7-figure company. So you can be a leader and make millions of dollars with no major number of followings, or you can have a lot of followings and barely make any money. You want to be a leader, but not a broke leader. Because if you are a leader who hasn't figured out how to generate money, then you won't be able to consistently do what you're doing. But if you generate income, that means that you're providing value in the sense that people are seeing themselves to invest in themselves with you. This is very important. If you have 1 million followers and you're barely making $100,000, that means that you're making money from exposure, from giving exposure to others, meaning that you're making money from advertisement, making your money from, right? So people, your followers, aren't seeing value to pay you. They are seeing value in the ads that are being shown, and they're paying all those companies. Okay? What I'm saying is very important for you to learn. What I'm saying is extremely important for you to learn. Okay? There are leaders that have a lot of followers, but are barely making money. The majority of those leaders that are having these many followers and barely making any money, they're making that money from advertisement money. Okay? But that advertisement means that somebody is paying them 10 cents to get that follower to go to their page, to the page of this advertiser, and that advertiser is making $1 on that dime, meaning that you're literally selling the biggest, most valuable part of your leadership to someone else because you're not providing enough value that people who are following you feel that they can pay you. Is everybody following what I'm saying here? No? Okay. So most of you are, but let me explain. Let me explain here. Let me bring a whiteboard here. Okay. Let's say you are an influencer. Okay. You're an influencer. You, as the influencer, have massive following. Okay, which makes you a leader, right? So you have massive following. Let's say, for example, you have 1 million followers. Okay. If you have 1 million followers, then as the influencer, if you find a way that you connect your influence to a financial engine, then that financial engine, let's say I'll show the financial engine like this. If you connect your influence to your financial engine, all right, okay, then your financial engine is able to generate millions of dollars. Okay? But many influencers can't figure out this financial engine. So if this financial engine doesn't exist, how should this influencer make money? This influencer makes money by advertisement. So somebody else who has figured out their financial engine comes and runs their financial engine through ads to your followers. Okay? But for them to run ads, they are paying you 10 cents to get $1. Make sense? Otherwise, they wouldn't advertise. If they're paying you 10 cents, that means that they're making $1 overall, not immediately, but over time, they're making, right? Now, sometimes this person, their influence is super small. Okay? So the influence of this person is super small, and still they are generating a lot more than the original influencer. Why? Because this influencer hasn't figured out their financial engine. And I'll tell you, the majority of the 90% of influencers haven't figured out their financial engine. That's why you can run ads on their videos. So if you go to YouTube, right? If you go to YouTube, you go to other places, if you can see an ad on a YouTube video, that most likely means that that person hasn't figured out their financial engine yet, or isn't even trying to figure out their financial engine. Does everybody follow that? Okay. So here's the thing. You want to be a leader, but not a broke leader. And what that means is that you first want to figure out your financial engine. Because when a person figures out their financial engine, even with a very, very, very small following, they can generate income in big numbers. One of my friends is running about a $4 million business right now. He has 12 clients. 12 clients, $4 million business. Nobody knows him. He doesn't care. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer to be recording content all day long, trying to figure out how to dance to the new TikTok song to be able to get the next like, or have few clients who are working with them at deeper level and be able to generate income? Which one do you prefer, right? So of course you prefer. Now, if you have the financial engine figured out and you're generating income, and then you add this massive exposure to it, then phenomenal. Then you're going to make even more, you're going to be more successful, you're going to even make bigger impact. So this friend of mine working with 12 people making $4 million a year, he's not making as big of impact that he can. Make sense? So his income is big, his impact is small. His income is big, his impact is small, right? But he doesn't care. Like, he's not an impact-oriented person, right? But if you're an impact and income-oriented person, you want to figure out the income, and then you want to add exposure to it. Does it make sense? So when people come to me and say, Iman, I don't have a mailing list, I'm like, well, that's totally fine. You don't need to have a mailing list. What you need to figure out, though, is what you're offering. Because if you figure out what you're offering, then you can get clients. You get clients, then you can start monetizing with very, very, very small following. So with my lead mastermind students, for example, the very first thing that we super focus on is how you are generating income. Like, what's your offer? On the 8 quests that you look at, go back to look at the 8 quests that I gave you, right? On the foundational quest, what was quest 1? What was quest 2? Quest 1, figure out your signature offer. Quest 2, figure out your higher end one-on-one. Why? First, let's get you make money. Then we say, now let's talk about webinars and summits. So you can do the summit to get webinar to get more customers. But the very first step, we say, let's look at how you're going to make money. What's your offer? What's your lower end? What's your higher end? Now that we know this, then we say, okay, now let's create ways that you can generate income in a scale. So that at scale. So that's when we build a webinar funnel, and that's when we start running traffic to this webinar funnel. Is everybody with me? Is everybody following the logic? Perfect. So here's what we want to do. What we want to do this morning, we want to put together our lower end package and our higher end package. Okay? So by noon Pacific time today, you know what your signature course is, and you know what your higher end offer is. Okay? If we can do that, then we're like, okay, I know what I'm selling. If I know what I'm selling, then I need to know how to sell this. Okay? And then this afternoon, I'm going to show you how to present on a webinar where you can actually sell that package that you created. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about now how to bring people so they see the webinar, so they get them. Okay? Perfect. So now, reminder for you, people buy into your vision. People buy into your vision of what they can achieve or whom they can become when they invest to work with you. People buy into your vision of what they can achieve or whom they can become when they invest to work with you. Now, the challenge is many times we don't have that vision of what people can achieve or whom they can become. And when we don't have that, then of course, we won't be able to sell it to them, because if you can't sell the vision to me, I'm not talking about sell the package, I'm talking about selling the vision. If you don't have a clear vision, you can't sell the vision to me. Sell the idea of the vision. So everyone is clear. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about selling the idea of the vision. Okay? Like you can't paint the picture for the person of what they can achieve. If you can't paint the picture of what they can achieve, they're not going to buy into the idea of what they can achieve. And remember, this is something that this person on their own doesn't have the ability to paint that vision. That's why you are a leader. You're a leader because you can paint that vision. Makes sense? And when you do that, it's like, hey, you can be a marathon runner. Can I? Oh, absolutely. But I'm overweight. I totally hear you. But look at these 5 people that I worked with that were overweight and today are marathon winners. And you're like, really? I always wanted to run a marathon. Like, oh, that's interesting, right? You're painting that vision that they don't believe that they can do. And then you're like, yeah, you can totally be the marathon winner. And here's what we're going to do. Step 1, we're going to help you to adjust your food. Step 2, we're going to help you to start losing weight in the way that's aligned with you. Step 3, we're going to help you with your muscles, and we're going to help you with your bones. We're going to help you with everything, because right now you need to reconstruct your body. Step 4, we're going to get you into running. Step 5, we're going to get you to become an amateur runner where you can actually go out and run with your kids and everything else. And step 6, we're going to get you into a half marathon and then a marathon. We're like, is that possible? Absolutely. Look at these 5 people that I've done this with before. They all were like you, never thought that they can run a marathon. But it's not about running a marathon. It's about being healthy enough to be able to run a marathon. I don't care about you don't want to run a marathon, don't run a marathon. But what if I get you so healthy that if you wanted, you could run a marathon? I want to be healthy. I want to be here for my family. Okay, let's get started. Okay. Does that make sense? That marathon winner, that is a vision that this person didn't have in the first place. But we painted the vision of whom this person can become. The person bought into the idea of being so healthy that they can run a marathon. We believed in them far more than they believed in themselves. They're like, I can't do that. You're like, you can. Let me show you. I've worked with many people, many others who can do this, who have been able to do this, right? Is everybody following that? Is everybody following what I'm saying here? This is very important. This is very important. Now, there is a chance that one of you is doubting yourself right now. You're like, but Iman, I haven't worked with anyone. That's why you have a beta program. That's why you run a beta program, because your beta program gives you the ability to create these success stories. So you do it with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people through your beta program. You see how I didn't say, yeah, I totally have done it with 7,000 people? No, I said I've done it with 5 people. Here are the 5 people I've done this with. Here are 3 examples of people that I've done this with. How do you get those 3 people? Through your beta program. How do you get the beta program students? You literally tell them, this is the first time I'm doing it in this group format, and the first time that I'm doing it in this course. And if you want to be one of the first students, you get 50% discount. You do this with me, and then now I'll help you to get results. And you go above and beyond for those people. You pay a lot of attention to them. You care. You work with them to get results. So here is the thing. Do you need to step up and to serve your customers with excellence? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's the one thing that you have power over. If you see one of your clients is struggling, are you willing to pick up the phone and call them and say, I don't know, James, I see that you're struggling. Let me help you. I know that you bought a package that has like group program, but I see that you're struggling. I'd like to work with you for 2 extra sessions for free and just help you to get results. Why would you do that? Because that gives you experience to see what James needs. So then you can bring that to your course. Are you willing to go above and beyond to serve your customers with excellence? If you're willing to go above and beyond to serve your customers with excellence, you have what it takes to be a leader. If you're not willing to go above and beyond, then you're not going to be able to serve your customers with excellence. Now, what I'm saying when I say above and beyond, I am not talking about working for free forever for everything. I am talking about being out there and caring about the clients and putting their success your priority, making their success your priority. Because these 3, 4, 5 students that are in your beta program, when their success is your priority, you go all the way out. You go all the way out, you learn what they need so you can add it to your next course. Is everybody with me? Is everybody following? Okay, if you're following, go to the chat box, give me I'm a leader. Perfect. So I'm going to share with you a few very important sentences during this event that when you learn these sentences in depth, it will change a lot of things in the way that you work with people, in the way that you lead, in the way that you communicate over time. Of course, one of those sentences is people buy into your vision of what they can achieve or whom they can become. So they invest in themselves to work with you, right? So that's one sentence that's extremely important, okay? But there's also this other sentence that's very important. This is not my sentence. The other one is my sentence, but this one isn't. I don't actually know whose sentence this is, but it's a very important sentence to understand. And it's this. People love you. People love you because they fall in love with whom they become when they are around you. People love you because they fall in love with whom they become when they are around you. This is a very, very, very important sentence. When people are around you, you have an effect on them to help them to feel a certain way about themselves. If they don't like the way that you make them feel about themselves, they're not going to like you. They're going to step away. It's not that they don't like you, they don't like the way that you make them feel about themselves. And they love you when they love the person that they become or they feel about themselves. Okay. Have you ever had this friend that comes to you, and just like as soon as they show up, your wild side comes out, and you're like, I have no idea why, but I'm like, I'm energized, I'm happy, I'm like, yes, let's do this, like, go, right? You're like super energized, and you're like, what's wrong with me? Yes, I love this, let's go, right? So you have like this friend that brings your wild side out, right? And that wild side is like, I like this. I want to hang out with you like all the time, right? You hang out with them for a day and you're like, okay, I'm done. I really need some rest. Like, this is more than enough for me for a day. Like, I can't do more, right? But you love seeing them. You love being with them, like for that period of time that you can stand. Right now, for some people, it's like every single day of their life. For some people, it's like that half hour that I was wild. But that's totally fine. But you fall in love with whom you become when they're around you, and you just love hanging out with that person, right? Or you have this other person that the moment that you are with them, the moment that you sit beside them, all the noises in your mind quiets. They all calm down. You suddenly feel comfortable. You suddenly feel safe. You suddenly feel you're heard and you're seen and you're understood. And sometimes they're just sitting there and you are the one who is talking. And you're normally not the one who talks. Yet when this person shows up, you feel appreciated, you feel heard, you feel seen, you feel respected, you feel understood. And suddenly you feel so good about yourself. You're like, I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with you. People love you because they fall in love with whom they become when they're around you. Does everybody follow that? Okay. What's the importance of this sentence related to marketing? Well, here's the importance of this sentence. Your students become someone when they're around you. they're going to feel a certain way when they're around you. And if you're not aware of how you make people feel when they're around you, that feeling is going to be random. And if that feeling is going to be random, you're going to attract random people with random needs, with random things, and you're ending up with a mess of a company to deal with clients. But when you sit and think about it, of who do I want my clients to become when they are around us, then suddenly you attract those people and you repel everybody else who doesn't want to feel that way. I want to make people feel like leaders, people who want to make massive impact, people who want to generate income from that impact. You know who I repel? People who just want to make money and don't give a crap about the things that we talked about in the last 1.5 days. Like, I do repel them. Look around, look at the average age of people in this room, right? I don't attract youngsters. I don't attract 20-year-olds who all they care about is money. I do attract people who are experienced, people who are mature, people who have expertise. Why? Because they understand that not whole life is about money. Many people on this call have made a ton of money, have lost a lot of money. They know money comes, money goes. There are several people on this call that are making 7 figures. There are several people on this call that are making 6 figures. There are several people who are on this call that are starting from scratch. There are lots of people who are starting from scratch but had 7 figures before. And yet, nobody here cares about like where they are today because they know that it's not sustainable. Like things change in life, right? And because we know things change in life, we have a different understanding of the world and the way that the world works and the money and the income and everything else. This is very important, guys. This is very important because you choose who you attract. Now, let me tell you an interesting thing. So my main company, the company that I focused on, the company that I built, the company that I trained the majority of my team members is, of course, Success Road Academy. Is this company, is the company that you're in right now, right? But over time, I've bought several other companies. I've merged many companies, right? I bought into JV Insider Circle. Then I invested in Actionera. I've invested over 160 other companies. But several companies that I've invested in, we actually went in and we ran their operation, like JV Insider Circle, like Actionera, like others, right? And one of the things that my team notices every time that we take over an operation of a company is the difference in the mindset of the clients. Now, with Actionera is perfect because with Actionera, Robert and Mark were part of my lead mastermind. And because they were in lead mastermind, like the entire company was like run perfectly even before we bought into Actionera. So Actionera was like smooth sailing, like it was like perfect, right? So we didn't feel actually anything weird in Actionera, right? But recently, like just since the beginning of this year, I bought 2 other companies. I bought one of them for Success Road and one of them for Actionera, right? So actually, Actionera bought JVIC, but besides JVIC, Actionera also bought another company, okay? And when we went into that other company and started communicating with their clients, the entire Actionera team was like, what's happening here? What's happening? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, why everyone has such a different mindset? Like, what's wrong? We're like, what? Why? Now I'm like, just give it time. People change. The previous owner didn't have a clear vision, didn't have good communication, didn't have a style of leadership, didn't have, we are bringing this to this. We're bringing community. Like this is the first time that these people are actually facing community. All they were facing before was a service company. And now they are facing a community and they are not used to this. Just give it time and slowly bring them to our community and let them learn the culture. Let them see and experience the culture, right? So over the last 2 months or a month, I think it's a month now. Over the last month, I think we brought about 120 or 150 of those clients to Action Arrow, like transition them to Action Arrow, right? And their entire communication is different inside Action Arrow comparing to that other company. It's just amazing to see. Why? Because in Action Arrow, we know who we want our clients to become. We know how to communicate with them. We have a guideline of how to communicate, how to talk, how to lead. And we are so clear about that vision that we are living true to that. Is we're not faking it. It's just the person that we want to become. It's the person who want, and that's the way that we want people to feel around us. The importance of this in marketing, I think that now everybody is seeing the importance of this in marketing, right? Because it impacts the type of clients you attract, it impacts the type of communication that you have, it impacts everything. It impacts practically everything, okay? So what we want to talk about today, first we want to talk about your signature program. Now, what's your signature program? Your signature program is the program that you create that becomes your signature, that becomes your brand, that becomes the thing that anywhere you go, people know you for that brand. Okay? So many years ago, I chose online course creation for myself, okay? So my signature course became the online course creation. So everywhere I was going, people were calling me, they were like telling me, oh, you're the online course creation dude, okay? So they were like, oh, I've been on your webinar. You were talking about online course creation, right? So everywhere it was all about online course creation, online course creation, online course creation. Make sense? Now, could I teach other things? Absolutely. So let me tell you actually the history of why I decided to focus. So the history of this is in 2010, I was brand new. I couldn't sell any courses. I tried to sell several courses. I couldn't sell any courses. And then, as you guys know, I was 17 days away from becoming homeless. And then I decided to start a web design company because it was fastest way that everybody needs a website, right? So I decided to start a web design company because it was the fastest way to find clients. I didn't know how to design a website though, right? So I sold my first web design package 3 days after I started my business. That person paid me $1,800. That money paid the rent of the month, bought us food. But then I needed to learn how to design the website. I have MBA in online business, so I know about online business. I'm actually educated. I'm highly educated in online business building, but I didn't know how to design a website. I didn't know how to code. I didn't know anything related to that, right? So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I was going to one-on-one meetings to try to sell websites. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I would go to networking events to find people to have one-on-one meetings with them the next day to sell websites to them. And then at 9, I would go home, eat dinner. And then at 10, I would start learning websites till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. That's how I built that web design company, right? And I built it to 6 figures. And that's when I got my bleeding and ended up at hospital, when I realized like I'm actually selling out to money as opposed to doing the things that I wanted to do, right? So then I was like, okay, now I need to build my coaching business. But at the time, because I built many websites, I'd ended up giving a lot of advice about online marketing as a web designer, right? So I had all these people that I worked with as a done for you client that I had mentored and coached, right? So that gave me some success story, that gave me some. Then I started selling a course. I want to sell a course. Nobody again bought it as a course. So I got 8 people to come to a course for 8 weeks for free. This was in person. There was a bank in downtown Vancouver that they had a community room that they would allow people to use the room for free. So I would talk to them for 8 weeks. I was like, can I use your room for free for 8 weeks? They're like, yeah, totally. So I went and kind of like got it. And then I started like getting these 8 people come to me. All right. But as part of my building my web design company, I started something called Vancouver Business Network. Okay. Now, Vancouver Business Network was a network of entrepreneurs that were coming, and every week I would invite a speaker because I wanted to be a speaker, right? So I was inviting speakers to come. This is how I got known. But then always I said I'm a web designer. So people would come, I would get web design leads, web design client leads there, right? So, but there's an importance in the Vancouver Business Network part was because I learned also how to build a large community. Vancouver Business Network was the fastest growing business network in Vancouver, right? So then when I started teaching these 8 people, I decided to do an event called Marketing Mastery Summit. So I started to do a 2-day event called Marketing Mastery Summit. So I learned how to do events. Then I started inviting people to come, and to market Marketing Mastery Summit, I started a show called Marketing Experts Cafe, which was in the back of my office. It was like maybe about 6 feet wide, right? I put 2 chairs. I bought it from Walmart, $15 per chair, and I put uh, electrical fireplace and a 27-inch TV, and I saved up money and like bought a camera that was like $500, but I needed to save money to get it, and then bought a $5 microphone. And I kid you not, I was running this microphone all the way to a trash can because that was the only thing that I had to put it on. So I would have this microphone on a trash can sitting in front of me and the guest, and I would invite people to come to that office. We would record the show, and that's how I learned how to record shows, and then how to have a like a podcast YouTube channel type thing, right? So then I taught these 8 people. And then I sold. The next time, these 8 people got great results. So then I ended up selling that 8-week course to 7 people for $2,000. Okay, so that was the first time I got clients. So $2,000 for 8-week course, right? And then I improved that to become a year-long program for $7,500. So now by this time, I was doing free events. I was doing webinars. I was doing shows. I was doing podcasts. I was running a community, right? I gained all this experience. And then, of course, I published the book and became a best-selling author. And long story short, by 2014, I had 12 different skills that all of them were sellable, and I was teaching them. So I was teaching them how to do podcasts. I was teaching them how to have a show. I was teaching them how to have a community. I was teaching them how to create an online course. I was teaching them how to sell masterminds. I was teaching them how to do mentorship programs, public speaking, like how to be an inspirational speaker, so on and so forth, joint venture partnerships, so on and so forth, right? So I had 12 different things. What was the problem? The problem was that I launched a podcast, and this podcast became the most popular podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Every week, we were getting 3 to 5 clients that was coming to us, paying $10,000 to buy our mentorship program. And I had 12 mentors who were working for me to mentor these people. The issue was that when these people were coming, that heard me. So they expected all these mentors to know how to build a community, how to run a podcast, how to write a best-selling book, but they didn't know all of these things. One of them was good in doing events. One of them was good in podcasts. One of them was good. So the leads we were getting was not a match with what we could deliver. And that was like, well, but it's very hard for me to get these 12 mentors to be trained in everything that I can do. So what do we do here? I'm making $30,000 to $50,000 a week. So it's good money, but I don't have mentors who can mentor these clients that are coming on board in a proper way, in the level that I want them to be mentored. Then I was like, okay, wait a second. We should go back to the drawing board. I screwed up. I didn't listen to my mentors. I didn't listen to my education. What does my education say? My education says focus on one topic. Why focus on one topic? That's when I realized focus on one topic, because when your business expands, then you can train mentors on one topic to mentor for you. But you can't train people to become you. So I went to the drawing board. I put 12 courses on the wall. And I'm like, which one of these do I want to become? I want to become a public speaking trainer. I want to become a podcast coach. I want to become a best-selling book coach. I want to become an online course creation coach. Which one of these I want to become? And then I chose online course creation. This is in 2015. And when I focused on online course creation, that's when my business became a 7-figure business. So I never became a 7-figure coach until I got super focused on one thing. But when I got super focused, then I was able to train all the other people to also mentor for me. That's why in Ultimate Course Formula, for example, I teach, but Janelle Anderson is the person that is responding to everything. In Lead Mastermind, I coach, but then we have Taryn and Janelle running our office hours. If I wasn't focused, I couldn't train other people to be able to support my students. And then I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Is everybody following? Is everyone following this? This is extremely important and crucial to the expansion of your business. But also, back in 2013-14, when people wanted to know what I do, it would take 2 days for me to tell them. And I'm not kidding. When I say 2 days, was because I had to invite them to come to Marketing Mastery Summit. And I said, do you have a problem with attracting clients? They would say yes. Now, like, here is a free ticket to come to my 2-day event. They would come to my 2-day event. At the event, I would go through my content, and then they're like, oh, now I get what you do. So when I say it would take 2 days, it literally took 2 days. So only thing I could do was saying that, do you have a problem with your marketing? They would say yes. And I'm like, come to Marketing Mastery Summit. And I would spend 2 days to tell them what I do. But then after we focused on online course creation, what happened? What was that online course creation? Then everybody knew what I do. So right now I go to an event and they're like, what do you do? I teach people how to create and sell online courses. I mean, since Action Era, sometimes I say we help people develop their mobile apps, right? So either say we help people develop their mobile apps, or I say I teach people how to create and sell online courses. But it's my signature. I have the most sold book in the world on online course creation. So you see, like, it becomes your signature. It becomes a thing that you go everywhere and it becomes your. That's why it's called a signature offer. That's why it's like, it's your one thing that you always talk about. Now, of course, my mentorship students come there and they laugh when I say I teach people how to create and sell online courses. Because, like, if this is all the things I teach, online course creation is like this much of what I teach. Literally, it's this much. I have a course called Bullshit Mastery. I have a course called Hot Mess Mastery. I have a course called Hell Buddy Mastery. I have a course called Six-Figure Event Training. I have a course on communication, on building communities. I have a course on message mastery. Like, I have 150 online courses. So, of course, telling people I teach people how to create and sell online courses is like the high. Like when you say, hi, Iman, that's online course creation. The how are you of it is like 2 other courses, like just so many courses in there. And yet, I still to this date say I teach people how to create and sell online courses. Why I'm telling you such a long story is because I know many of you here on this call have hard time getting focused and letting go. You have hard time getting super focused on one topic and letting go on the surface. Listen to me. I let go on the surface. And I teach everything I teach in my lead mastermind. So my lead unlimited mastermind gets everything. So I get to do what I love to do. I get to teach everything I teach. But I don't need to keep selling it either. Like, I don't need to keep selling a $200 course and $500 course and $2,000 course. You know how hard selling is? Why? I have one mastermind. It's my higher end mastermind. Everything is in that mastermind. And there is a system, there is a process, there is a roadmap for it so people don't get overwhelmed, right? Because people also should receive, right? So there is a roadmap on how to consume that content. So I get to teach what I teach. We give people a roadmap of what to follow, and then I get to have a brand publicly. Now, does that hurt my ego? Used to hurt my ego to say I teach people how to create and sell online courses, because it was one of the 150 things that I teach. And so it would feel like I have this massive body and this little soul for it. Right? But then I realized it actually is not that way. When you get super focused, people just understand you. People connect with you. People want to move forward. So, what does this mean for you? What this means for you is I want you to get super focused on one topic. Now, if you teach so many different things, think about it this way. And I actually talked to Marty, I think it was yesterday, about this. I said, when people come to you to work with you, what do you wish they knew to get the best results? What do you wish they knew before they start working with you? Now, there is a chance that you come up with 2 or 3 or 4 things. between those two or three or four things, which one of them is most popular? So when you say it publicly, people say, oh yeah, I really like that, right? And you believe that you can charge for it. You don't know, you got to do market research, other things, right? But you believe that there are other experts that are charging for this one piece. In other way, do you have a competitor that annoys you because it's teaching so little and charging so much, and still people are paying them? That probably is a really good topic. That probably is a really, really good topic. That's why your competitor is actually teaching it, and people are paying them so much. And you're looking at it and you're like, oh, you know, but they're not teaching these other 500 things I can teach. Sure, but they're selling that one course. That's where it starts. That's where the journey begins. Okay. And for some of you, you're actually super clear about the topic. It's not like 500 million things you teach. You just want to teach one thing. You're super focused. And for those of you who are super focused and fantastic, okay, so there is a kind of a range of people here. There are people who have only one topic. There are people who have a couple of topics. And then we have people who have 150 topics and they have harder time, right? So think about it this way. If you have the 150 topics, what's the one or two or four things that you wish people knew when they come to you? That should be your signature course. Okay? That should be your signature course. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes for now, because I know that many of you have done the exercise on the topic, like you already know what the topic of your signature course is. Okay? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes. If you need to think about the topic of your signature course, take these 3 minutes, choose the topic of your signature course, and then I'm going to walk you through some exercise and will help you to get more clarity. Okay? So let's start with 3 minutes and let's work on the topic of your signature course. Okay. So if you know your topic and target market, let's go to the chat box and share your topic and target market with us. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let's go to the chat box and share with me. Awesome. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see. Topic: local base setup, step by step. How to reduce the trauma. That's very much meditation or execution. I forgot this. Okay. Perfect. Look at these. Jill, I like yours. High-end sales blueprint. That's perfect. I mean, I like all of these. You know, just Jill's jumped out. Eating disorder, communication mastery. Annette, I think it should be mastery, not master. But how to communicate and support. Create and implement new income stream. Okay, that's good. I have women in the tabletop game industry or okay, create and implement. Okay, who's still struggling? Tammy, it's your topic and the target market. And some people are putting the title of their course, and all of it is fine. Perfect. Confidence mastery. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Awesome. These are awesome things, by the way. If you guys haven't looked at the chat box, look at the chat box. And you see like all different topics or different target markets. This is the brilliance of this group. You guys have such great topics, such great valuable things to offer the world. And that's amazing. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay. Now that you have focused on a topic, by the way, Cheryl, can you tell me who your coach is at this event? I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Jay.
Jay. Jay, where are you, Jay? Is Jay around? I don't know if Jay is around. One of the coaches, Monique or Catherine, can you let Jay know that I want him to have a one-on-one with Cheryl to help her with the topic? Okay, because I know that Cheryl had messaged me several times before about this. So if you can actually have a just kind of extra session with Cheryl about that. Okay, perfect. Okay, Marty, you're up.
Okay. So sorry to revisit this again, but I just want to make sure. So we were going to go with, our program was going to be called Time Mastery Method, and based on our conversation yesterday, that started to make sense that we can sort of lead with that, still cover all the other things that we're really interested in terms of helping people thrive. I'm getting a little hung up though on the question of what do you wish they knew when they came to you? Is that like macro, like big picture, like meaning, I'm not sure I would want them to know time mastery, or is it more like I wish they knew that the mindset, like mindset work is critical to everything, because that's probably more core to what we're doing. But the time is kind of like the tip of the spear. So I just want to make sure we're not missing that.
So, for example, I help my students with building a complete business as a leader, right? And as a leader, when they're building their complete business, many times when they come to me, they don't even know what the word topic means. They don't know what the word target market means. They don't know what Iman's 8 golden questions are. They don't know even the foundation of leader success blueprint, that what we want to do is we want to create a course, have a higher end, right? So I'm like, what can I teach people before they apply to go to Lead Mastermind? That the majority of my students know this. And I'm like, online courses. If I teach them how to create and launch online courses, then they know their topic, they know their target market, or even if they're not 100% clear, at least they've learned basics. So then we can help them faster, sooner, more effective. Like it just increases their speed of success if they have studied online course creation first, right? And I had that option with several other things. So I could teach them public speaking, like how to sell from the stage. That would also help them to do that, right? I would also be able to do that with their book writing. And the reason for book writing, because the way that I would teach the book writing is like, know what your offer is, and then write a book that helps you to sell that offer. So still the book writing would be about the offer. But then between the options that I had, online course creation was the one that was most popular. And also I had the least number of close friend competitors. Meaning that like I had a lot of people that were teaching speaking, and I had a lot of people that were teaching like other things, but then public online course creation, I had only a couple of friends who were teaching that. So I realized I can go to all my friends who are teaching public speaking and book writing and everything else and get them to promote my online course creation course. And I'm like, well, that's a better thing for me to do. So it's like, what was the foundational thing that I want them to learn? And number two, it's like which one is popular and which one is more in reach for me to promote.
Right. Okay. So does that seem to fit in like the self-help bucket, of a million things of helping people thrive? It sounds like the time helping people not be overwhelmed, not feel like they don't have enough time, would be certainly a possible starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Awesome.
Thank
Great
you.
question, Marty. Awesome. Asma.
Hi, Iman.
Hello, Asma.
Thank you. I think my question is, and I love when you shared your story because it's like I am now where you were like 5, 10 years ago. I'm a marketer. I've been a marketer for 22 years now. I've done it all. And the passion that I have now is helping people create and launch their dream business.
Mhm.
But when I did my first program, it was a lot of things that I was teaching. And I always needed to stay on top of everything, the latest tools for the automations, the avatars, how to create them, create your signature offer, help them create their methodology, help them find their genius zone so they can build a business from that place. And it's just too much. And I'm always having a hard time focusing on one thing. And I think in some point you did answer my question because I was going to ask, like, how did you decide on online like courses from everything? What I'm passionate about is definitely grow the leader, grow the business. So I want to focus on the person, on the leader. But when I used to have my marketing agency, money was flowing into the bank. As soon as I start teaching leadership, money disappeared from the bank because people don't understand leadership, that they need that. When I say I can help you create your business, sign me up. When I say let me help you become a leader, they're like, I'll read a book about it, right? So
Okay,
that
I'll tell you the answer because I've lived
you've
that life,
lived it,
right?
yes.
So grow the leader, grow your leadership. That definitely is a higher end mastermind. Okay,
Okay.
and definitely should be disguised inside a marketing course. So, for example, our lead mastermind is exactly what it is. It's uh, it's a personal development program mixed with a business development program. So people have very clear business development journey, and they also go through personal development, that every piece of personal development is related to some piece of marketing, like what we did yesterday. What we did yesterday was a lot of personal development, but I'm going to get all those pieces and I'm going to put them in marketing. And as you remember, yesterday I reminded people several times that, guys, just come with me, just go through this personal development, so then I can get these pieces, because I know that sometimes people come for a marketing course and then they lose interest or whatever. So that's exactly my situation. And so we always focus on one piece that generates income. Remember, the biggest challenge that the majority of entrepreneurs have is marketing and sales, right? So it's marketing, sales, generating leads. Everyone, like, even if people are making like $10 million profit every year, what do they want more of? Leads. People always want more leads, right? So anything that would help them to either generate more leads or generate more sales, it's going to be hot comparing to anything else, right? So especially as a marketing expert, that's what I would highly recommend to you, to focus on something that's to do with marketing. Now, see what you are the best at and what you can get people results in 6 weeks. And that's going to be the challenge, because you're like, oh, okay, so I want to build something that's in 6 weeks, people are going to get results.
Not 12 weeks, which was usually my program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 weeks.
6 weeks. When I was writing my comments, I said unlock their genius zone. But again, I don't know if that's more like high end, because a lot of people, when I talk with high achieving people, they're like, oh my God, you're going to help me find what is my genius zone, because I can literally see it in people in 10 minutes where they can't. But I think for a new entrepreneur, it's always what should I say? What is my elevator pitch? What is my positioning? How can I differentiate myself from others? Like, they're having a hard time expressing to get leads,
Yeah.
right? So
So your
okay,
genius, so that work on genius, that would be more like higher end one-on-one though.
that's what I was wondering.
That would
Okay.
I would make that in your case. I mean, like, for somebody else, I may say like make that a course, but in your case, because you are a marketer, you can have great marketing things that uh, is far more popular than how to find your genius.
Okay. Okay. So just focus on marketing leads, and that will be the signature for 6 weeks. And then invite them. Well, I'll give them what they want, but while in the program, I'll talk about the importance of growing their leadership, and that will get them into the high-end mastermind.
And make it specific to a target market. So don't make it like how to get leads for everyone, because then you're going to have a print shop and a bakery and and a coach and a realtor coming to you. That's bad course. Okay.
Yeah, I want thought leaders. I'm attracted to thought leaders, like people that are changing the world with their words.
Yeah,
People
coaches,
want to
authors,
take
and
the thing,
speakers.
not do.
I would make it to speakers then.
Okay, so speakers, coaches, consultants, things like
Yeah.
that.
Coaches, authors, and speakers, right?
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I just had the epiphany this morning. I'm like, wait, Iman was a marketer and now he's a leader. Like, so he went through it. He knows. So
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you, because it
Yeah,
was so
absolutely.
hard for me to put the two together. Thank you.
Awesome. Perfect. Dr. Katz.
So my background had been working with leaders as a facilitator for like really high-end water planning issues, climate, new technology, environmental justice, whatever. And the original idea for Water Citizen was developing this big online virtual conference center, basically, and doing all of the services of, defining the program and finding the right people to come and finding the right speakers and delivering it and all that. And I actually now have, after 11 years, this, opportunity to write get $10 million over the next 5 years. So I need to work on that. But the mastermind is really specifically focused on women of water, of which we only make up 20% of people working in water. And that's usually at the lower levels. And a lot of them basically top out around the age I did at 39. They basically get pushed out. And really it doesn't matter the age of, it's people who are in transition. Either they're trying to get into a leadership role, or they've just gotten a leadership role, but they don't feel like they have the mentorship they need, or they're feeling stuck, like they've been waiting and waiting and waiting to get a promotion. They're not getting it. To have that mastermind, I don't want to like stop everything to deliver a 6-week course. I want to focus on the other things, but this mastermind, I was talking to someone about this other day, that you've got lots of other businesses, but LEAD is as much feeding you and keeping you, it's a community that you're a part of as well as a leader of, right?
Yeah.
And for me, this is my movement, is to help women in the water space be more than just engineers or operators or whatever, but actually get the support that they need to become leaders, which even when men are supportive, the advice that they give may not be the right advice because it doesn't work the same way for women, or they may not understand all the outside pressures for women. I mean, I think it's really going to be a very powerful thing. I'm excited for this founding class that I'm just really going to put everything in, and I'm sending out invitations like right now and taking my life story and trying to get all that out now. But I know a lot of people are like, okay, mastermind's got to be high ticket, high level. And, I'm not looking for that. I've looked at a lot of other women of water and other water leader mastermindy type things. And that's not what I'm looking to do.
So, okay. So you said something there that wasn't quite accurate. You said that I don't want to stop everything to teach this course. You don't have to stop everything to teach the course. The course is just 6 weeks. You're teaching it a couple of hours a week. So you have 38 other hours. And probably the way that I know you're working 60 hours a week. So you have another 58 hours a week for doing everything else. So you're not stopping everything.
Well, I mean, there's the marketing beforehand, and then there's the live event afterwards to get them into something else. And I mean, I'd rather just show up once a month.
Well,
and really love on this one group. Right?
Yeah, but that's just like, yes. And also, how do you want to feed that group? So,
right.
For example, when you said LEAD is my playground, LEAD is a place that I hang out with, you're absolutely correct. But where do LEAD members come from? LEAD members come from Ultimate Course Formula, come from this event. So if this event doesn't exist, if Ultimate Course Formula doesn't exist, then LEAD Mastermind doesn't exist.
Right.
So kind of the course and so in one way or another, you have to market the mastermind, and you have to market the mastermind then you can either market a program to people who have never worked with you. That's far more expensive. Or you can market a smaller program, which is much easier to deal with, much easier to market, and then let the rest of the system take care of it. I let the rest of the system take care of it, as opposed to me wanting to work super hard to fill the mastermind. I just let the mastermind fills itself.
I mean, the one thing that's worked, it seems to be working, is we're doing like these mini masterminds, and I've gotten really good at, like, within 2 hours, bringing a group of women who've never met each other and going really deep, really fast.
Yeah, that's super cool as well. Like that's a great strategy also for filling masterminds. And if a mastermind is strictly a mastermind, meaning that there is no educational program in it, then that's fantastic. Okay. But if a mastermind is mixed with the educational program, then that would be very complicated, unless you go through a very complicated phase-based educational program that you can allow people to join at any time. But that would require a lot more resources. That requires office hours. That will require lots of.
And there's gobs of continuing education for water professionals. It's all these associations, leadership programs, blah. None of them are into implementation support. That, I think, is our competitive advantage. That's the difference with a mastermind, is it's actually helping you do your own thing.
Yeah, implementation support, it depends. If it's implementation support of anyone doing anything, that's totally fine. But if it's implementation support of a specific thing, then again, people need to be in the exact same phase.
Right.
But again, this conversation you and I are having is a conversation about higher end program, not a signature program. So I want to focus on signature program as opposed to the higher end program. Okay. Awesome. Great job. Alpana, sorry. It seems Annette got. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So thank you very much for helping me to crystallize what's my best first program. The question would be, how do I go from this to the bigger program? Or I don't see what can I offer when I'm working with people, helping them to communicate better, to go. I don't know how I can structure and how I can really sell it. It's not business, it's working within their family, having enough energy to support their kids and family.
All right. And so you can have the program. So your signature program is actually pretty obvious. We already talked about that. So what's your problem with the signature program?
So signature program I will have. Where do I lead them from there?
Well, we are not talking about that yet. We're not there yet. We're just like, wait for this to finish and then we're going to get there.
So, okay. So in my signature program, let me reframe the question. I have 3 or 4 steps that are really important. Do I go really in depth for each one of them, just for one of them? What information do I give so people won't get lost and still will want more?
Don't worry about that. At this point, don't worry about that, okay? At this point, like, let us finish this, and then you're gonna see what you need to do. Because if you don't know what your next offer is, how do you want to decide that? And that's not what we're asking. All I'm asking right now is your topic, and you already know that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Richie, give me 1 second. I'm gonna unmute the next person and bring them on board because you skipped.
Hey, Iman. Sorry, I think I was having some trouble on my side. I'm the next person.
No, Alpana was the next person. My team made a mistake. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so Iman, I was in your program, I think in February last year, and I did launch a program recently. And is it okay if I talk a little bit about that? My topic is around brand storytelling for women entrepreneurs. and I've called it Ultimate Brand Storytelling Mastery. And I think my biggest challenge has been I've been marketing to a brand new audience, and they haven't really gotten to know me as well. This is a new sort of an email list I've cultivated through Facebook ads. And what happened was when I went through the program, I followed all the steps with doing the research with the audience and all that. So when I reached out to those people, it was a year and a half later. So I didn't really get the engagement because maybe they had moved on, or different things that happened. So I'm wondering if I should have redone some of those steps. I did have one person sign up, and yesterday I actually did like the kickoff with a virtual retreat. So a bunch of people signed up that were new to me, but there was some timing confusion with the different time zones. So a lot of them didn't show up. And so it was a small audience, and it was great. It went pretty well. But right now, officially, I just have one person signed up in my program. So I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on, what I can do. It's supposed to be a 6-week program, and the pricing is about $600 for that length of time.
Right. So one thing that's very important, especially at the beginning of your business. So it seems that you ran some ads as well, right? Is that what you said? You said that you ran some ads?
So the ads I ran were as a lead magnet. So it was essentially just to get people to sign up for my email list. So I didn't run the ads for the program itself.
Okay, got it. Okay, so and did you go through Ultimate Course Formula, or you followed a different model, different method?
You mean to launch the course, or?
Yeah, to launch the course, to create the course, launch the course. Did you follow Ultimate Course Formula, which is my course, or did you follow a different method?
I think it was a combination of things. The thing is, I had already set up the framework through what I had done with you, which
Okay.
was a year and a half ago. So I had that in place, and then I did the Facebook ads and the other things, and I did a launch series, which was, I honestly don't remember if you had that in the framework right now.
So there are a couple of things there. After you launch your beta program, you generally want to move to the next step, which the next step is having a webinar funnel. And from the webinar funnel, you want to have big lead coming in for the webinar funnel, which is a standard, like doing a summit, and then to the webinar funnel, and then go to the course. I'm assuming that you did not do that. I'm assuming that you did something else, right?
I did do a live training, so I called it a live training instead of a
Sure.
webinar, but it was basically a webinar.
Where did the lead for the webinar come from?
I'm sorry?
Where did the leads come from?
So they were mainly from my email list. And I think that was like the biggest challenge is my email list is about like 1,000 people now. So I have kind of doubled it from where I was before, but it's still not.
Yeah, so you skipped a step there, and that step is like you're gonna do either a summit giveaway or a bundle, and then immediately after that you need to do the live training. So you need to host something to build your list, and then from there you do a live training or the webinar the week after and after that. Okay, I'm gonna talk about all of that tomorrow. Right now, I just want to make sure that everybody has their topic right, as opposed to this. But what you're asking me is what I'm answering tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Anais, you're up. Sorry, Anais, for that. Alpana was mistakenly skipped by my team, and so I just wanted to make sure that Alpana gets her turn, because the team is skipped. Alpana went to Aneta.
It's fine. It's fine. It's interesting because it really aligns with my life story of not being seen. I love it. Perfect. Gave me an opportunity to do some work. So
yeah, but this part was not you
birthday.
being not seen. This was Alpana not being seen, and I was trying to fix it.
It's okay. It's how it works for me that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. What do we do with that? All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I am working on a bread and butter opportunity for a business that will allow me to do my higher end world project without having to worry about paying all my bills. So for a year, I did an online group in Telegram on the specific topic of the issues that surround the problem with deja vu dating. And as an energy healer, I had a different perspective on what that's about and how to attend to it. So my thing that I'm working on now is I'm going to put in the chat so I can read it. I don't have it memorized yet. I'm still working on it. Is how to stop deja vu dating. It's for entrepreneurs, professionals who are empaths and who tend to overgive. And so they don't necessarily recognize when they're filling the space in a dating situation, and instead of using that space to get more information about who they're with. So it's really about building boundaries. So my idea is deja vu dating, 12 steps, 12 chakra recovery program, 360-degree clarity, build your boundaries boot camp.
Okay.
That's it. And so I have like tons of content. I'm all ready to go with this, but I want to refine it and put the pieces in the right order and get at least some of the marketing done, because my marketing is by email. I don't do Facebook. It's by my list.
I have a question for you. Is deja vu dating something that is known, like people know what that is?
It's not known like your course creation wasn't known. That's going to be my brand. Deja vu. It's explained. Deja vu. How many people here know what the expression deja vu means? If you know, put up your hand.
Yeah, people know what deja vu means, right? Deja vu dating. I just want to make sure. Okay, so that's going to be something that, okay. So that definitely requires a subject line that does not have deja vu in the subject line. Okay, so definitely you need to have that. In terms of your 12 chakras, 12 classes, it can actually be 12 chakras and 6 classes. Doesn't need to be 12 classes.
I didn't say it was 12 classes. It's 12 steps. 12 chakras. It's 6 weeks.
Okay, well, that's the thing. You can't have 12 steps and 6 weeks. So because each step is a week. Because when you finish a step, you give people homework for that step. Unless each homework will each class have two pieces of homework. So you gotta be a little bit kind of like, when you say a step, means there is a homework, there is a piece of homework. Okay. So and that's why I thought it's 12 weeks, because you said 12 steps. 12 steps means 12 weeks. So anyways, it just but not a big deal. Anyways, as long as you can do it in 6 weeks. Now just it doesn't mean that the students also think the same as me. You can have 12 steps in 6 weeks, and that's going to be fine. Okay. And that's fine. That's totally fine. So it's a 6-week course. It's a 6 weeks course on deja vu dating. That sounds great. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. You're on the right path. You're on the right path.
So I'll just keep working it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, but that sounds perfect, actually. That's great. I totally understand what you're saying, because I see a lot of people who keep just dating the same type person over and over and over. It's just a different face, but the same person in a different face.
They don't know why they're doing it. And so I come from the energy approach, and once you clear that up in your chakras, you're done.
Yep. Yeah, no, that sounds great. Okay, thank you. That's awesome. Okay. Guys, we are running a lot behind on the event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer Gourmet, and I'm going to answer Gourmet. Katie, you already had your topic. You put it in the chat box. So I just want to make sure that we focus on your topic only. So like Gourmet Santo, I'm going to answer you, but just super focus on your topic. If you don't know about your topic, just ask the question about the topic. Okay, Gourmet.
Hi, thanks for taking my my call.
So my topic, I'm torn between the parenting. I really want to do something. My topic right now is mastering your voice.
Okay. Mastering your voice, and who's the target market?
Sales representative, trainers, coaches, influencers, marketing professionals, corporate women, speakers.
Okay. So if you are going to go with mastering your voice, that target market should be very focused, because mastering your voice is very generic. So if mastering your voice is very generic, then the other one should be very specific. It cannot be all the ones that you mentioned, because you can't also teach all those people the same thing about mastering their voice, because speaker requires a different thing about mastering their voice than a sales representative of a corporation. So mastering your voice would work if you choose a super specific target market. And I tell you, having a super specific target market will help you drastically with marketing, because right now, if you want to market to all those people, you have to have a ton of you have to work very, very hard. It will be very hard to position yourself as a leader for all of those people.
Corporate women.
Yeah, corporate women, perfect. Then you can go to all corporate events and you can deliver talks about mastering your voice, invite people to it. That's perfect.
Thank you very much.
Okay, awesome. And Katie.
I was trying to get my hand down. The only question I had regarding the topic was, it doesn't have the word like mastery in it. Because mastering blindness?
No, mastery is not part of the topic, it's part of the name of your course. Okay. So when I'm saying the topic is not the name of a course. So we have three things. We have topic, we have name or title, and we have hook, promise, or subtitle. Okay. So topic is like online course creation. Name or title is ultimate course formula, which is the name of my course. Hook, subtitle, or promise is how to create and sell online courses in 60 days or less.
Okay.
So all I'm asking right now is the topic. Now, I saw that a lot of people put the title of their course, but I'm totally fine with that, because of course, as long as I can see the title and I understand their topic, that's totally fine. So that's totally fine, right? But so you're good. You're talking about your topic, and your topic does not need to have the word mastery in it. That's the name of your course or title of your course.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Santa? Actually, by the way, Katie, this was a very helpful question. I know that a lot of people would be confused about that. So I'm glad that you weren't able to lower your hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So that previous answer was really helpful. And I realized that my question is more around the title and around timeframes rather than the topic, which I'm clear on. So my question was around, do I use the prevent approach or the reduce approach after it's happened? And if now is not the time to talk about titles and you're going to have a chance for us to ask questions later, I'm happy to wait.
No, we don't have, we're not going to focus on that. So, but tell me more what you're asking.
Right. So do I want to be focusing on clients before the dying and grief process to prevent the trauma? Or do I work with those already in the midst of the dying and grief process and they're traumatized and I'm working to reduce? It's the medical model, preventative or postvention.
Yeah. Okay. So probably post you would have easier time finding clients. Okay. Yeah. That's
it. And that was my intuition as well. Because most people don't want to prevent heart disease. They'll deal with it if it happens to them. That kind of attitude, right?
Yeah,
because
unless there is a gauge that they can look at. Like prevent heart disease, they can if they know that they have high LDL. And so you have a course on how to lower your LDL and the risk of heart attack. Then they can, because there is a gauge. And it's post having high LDL, right? But if there's no gauge, like trauma, there's no gauge, then there's no way to do it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. That is helpful.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, guys. So right now is 10:02. Let's take a break. You guys have been sitting for about a couple of hours right now. So let's take a break, and we are gonna be back at 10:20. Okay. Now, before you go, let's get you guys go to the chat box and give me a round of I'm a leader. Let's see if Sarah is around. Sarah, do you happen to be around? She's running to her computer probably right now in her room. Nah, probably she's not running. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to do a round of wheel of names. Okay, thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you guys back at 10:20. That's 18 minutes from now.